Hey, what's up? Going through a play today from the Packers win over the Cowboys. Listen, Packers won. It's great. I'm a big fan. You're a big fan. There are some missed opportunities along the way, and I kind of want to point this out as a way to talk about one missed opportunity that we saw on camera. They talked about on the broadcast, but also kind of what they were doing, how they got there, and kind of how this is an improvement over what we've seen so far. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So this is going to be so we've got up the top always third quarter, 6.5 minutes left, 3rd and 4 on that their own, was that 38, 39, something like that. It's going to be a loss of 9. This is going to be a sack. And this is the Cowboys have just gone up. So it's 21-14. Score here would be huge. Obviously, we know the Packers come back, but at the time watching this, we didn't know this. So what they're going to do is it's going to be between these two guys here. So this is going to be Toure here and Lazard here. And you've got, we'll kind of watch Cowboys as they're doing for the vast majority of the day. I think over 55% of their snaps were in single high, throwing an additional 22 to 25% in cover 3. So they had like 70+% of their snaps were in single high look, which is what you want. So you got single high, you got these two guys here. So they're going to motion Lazard down. They're going to have him kind of short motion down. It's a really bad squiggle, but I refuse to redo it. And so you'll see what's going to happen here. So they've got some kind of call here, some kind of check they're looking at. He sits off. They do this because you're looking for a rub at this point. When you got these two guys in the stack route here, looking for a rub, you got to communicate. Are we traveling with them in man coverage? So if this guy, which is what they're going to end up doing, if this guy, I'll just do this, kind of crosses over here, am I, as Diggs, am I following him over, or am I banjoing the coverage? Meaning, are we switching? So are you the inside guy then picking up the inside release there, and I'm going to pick up this guy here? So there's that short motion, and then you snap. You're forcing the defense to communicate. And maybe it's easy communication, and maybe it's not. Maybe there's a slight mix-up. Right here, what we're going to hit is a slight mix-up. So this is what you can get when you kind of play with the rules a little bit, because again, they won't spend a whole lot of time with this, but they've gone from here, man to man. I've got this guy, because they're spread out and they can afford to do that. To as soon as it goes into stack, you can see Diggs kind of make some hand motion there. He steps back. He's still here. What are we going to do? Well, there's a mistake there. And so what they're going to end up doing, they got to switch release. So I say this is an improvement over what the Packers are doing because it's been an improvement. So what they're going to do is Lazard's going to kind of have like an inside release there, break that off on a dig. Toure is just going to kind of fade out right there. And so this is what you want against man coverage, against this man-free, cover one, whatever you want to call it, when they're playing up on you. Because what teams have been doing against the Packers, they've been jamming up the line. They're not going to able to get off of it. One of the answers for that is to have these switch releases, to rub at the line, knock these guys off, force miscommunication. The problem is that a lot of times it was miscommunications with the Packers receivers. They're running into each other. So this right here is a vast improvement over what we've seen. It doesn't seem like much, but you're crossing over each other. You're creating confusion for the defense while also not running into each other. Again, listen, it's a very low baseline, but that's what we've seen so far. So we're going to have kind of this in-cutting thing from Lazard and this fade out here. And again, what you're trying to do, these two guys here, you're making them to communicate. You're making them pass this off. You're trying to get them to knock into each other or cause a little miscommunication, and that's exactly what happens. So we will have this. You see right here? Right here, man, we're good. Everything's good. They both follow. So Diggs clearly thinks, I don't know who's in the wrong here. Diggs clearly thinks they're banjoing. So he's going to kind of come over the top there, or not banjoing. I'm sorry. He thinks he's taking man. So he's running with this guy who released from the outside. And then 25 here, he thinks they're banjoing. He thinks he's taking the inside release and that Diggs is going to take the outside. Simple, but it's miscommunication and it happens. And so what happens there? That leaves a whole ocean of space. Toure is just going to run right into. So Rodgers is kind of checking this. He looks like he's checking the middle. He sets up. It looks like he's ready to throw. Now you've got what ends up happening. This was, I think, on the broadcast they show Toure is open and also Lazard is open. Where he's at, Lazard isn't really open right now. He will become open, but he's not open right now. He's just broken off from those two guys there. But where we're at now, Toure's fading out. You've got, I think it's Diggs at this point going, something has gone horribly wrong. You also have Lazard crossing here, and then single high safety looks like he's breaking. So you've got this entire side of the field is looking great. Man, feeling good, feeling great, feeling fine. How are you? And then, however, real bad, real bad. So he breaks in, sacks Rogers. He hits him before he can release. So he's reading this. I mean, what they're doing, and I don't know exactly what the call is here. Looks like some kind of like, this cross, whether that's mesh or not, because this is a kind of a Tunnion's going to kind of check at the line. He's not there to block. He's chip helping, and then he's going to release. So you get this kind of mesh thing here, and I think you're going to have him over the top. So this mesh concept with the vertical right on the outside, which is what you get a lot out of this. You get the mesh, you get something over the middle, you get this fade over the top. So Rogers is typically what you're doing. Actually, that might be vertical on the outside. That's vertical on the outside. That's my bad. So typically the way this read will work on here, so we'll draw this out now that I've got the call right. Typically how this will work, you read the vertical first, and on this concept, this looks like the vertical here. So this would be 1. The 2 read is going here, and the 3 would either go check down or to the other side, which would be here. So we'll say Toure, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. We'll say 3. So Rogers is working through. He moves off of this first. So he checks that off. I don't even know that he looks over. I think he peeks over there before the snap. He crosses that off. This is just an alert. This is if you like the matchup. This is man up here. He does not like that matchup for whatever reason. So I think he never even looks, which means then he's looking here to the 2. If he doesn't like what he sees there, then he's able to look to Toure, and so then he release. So this would be, so if we're looking at like, why doesn't he just throw to Toure? Well, because there's reads and all this stuff, and we can see it here. We can see this in hindsight. Quarterback does not see all things all the time. So this is where the read would go. Go 1, he's working across the field there, 1, 2, 3. So by the time he kind of, and we'll kind of see him, once he kind of sets, he's reading the middle. Once he's kind of at that point here, I'll run it back to about here. He's setting at this point here. He's looking. You can see his back foot hit. He's likely then going to bounce, set foot, look that way, and throw it. But again, he can't, because by that point the pressure is in on him and he can't do anything. So do this one more time, see what the Cowboys are doing. We'll go from there and we'll get out of here, I guess. So Cowboys have 5-man line. Right here, I show 5 at the line. You've got Vander Esch is the lurker. You've got over here, you got number 6 over here, and the Packers are just going to go. They're going to end up bringing 5. They're basically going to man. Bad with blocking stuff, so I don't know for sure what this would be, but they're basically manning up, and then he's going to kind of check. Dylan's checking Vander Esch. If Vander Esch does not come through, he's going to check and release. And right here, Tonyan is going to be kind of chip help on Micah Parsons over here, and then he's going to release on that drag across the middle. So that's what we're looking at. And the man in question is going to be here. Nothing special here. He just gets one over on Elgton Jenkins here. So he is going to kind of work him a little bit. He kind of comes up on him. He gets up in his face, dips under. And again, Rogers at this point, you see, looking on the middle. He sees Vander Esch there. It's likely he's looking to see what's going to happen. Hits the back of that drop. Looking, he's waiting for Lazard to come into that window, see what happens. And if that's not there and Vander Esch isn't there, the next move is bounce, foot point, toss to Toure. But again, Jenkins gets beat clean. And that's that, man. So again, you don't want to bemoan missed opportunities because the Packers won. They get the win in the end. But it's just one of those little moments. If blocking had been able to hold up for another, half second, perhaps, who knows? This could have been a big play, perhaps a touchdown here, just based on the way that safety is shading. So not to bring you down on a victory week here, but hey, man, these little plays, they deserve a little bit of time too. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.